So we are here in this holy restaurant called New York Deli with Paul and Lori Harrigan, and we're just debriefing on the Luke 10 conference. So my question to Lori is, what did you see, what did you experience this weekend at the conference that seemed important or significant?
So one thing that really stood out to me from the conference was just seeing how many men were willing. I felt like God was really touching them, and see how willing they were to be vulnerable in sharing their growth in the Lord. And I'm used to being in church events where you see a lot of women responding, and it impacted me to see the men respond and see the maturity and see their willingness to, to see just how God was working in their life. So it really impressed me.
That's a good one. What else? Any of the other things that seemed significant? Again, thinking about your ministry in France.
Well, for us in France, I feel like I still need to process what I've seen in the Luke 10 conference, how to apply that in France. But I appreciate the table church experience, because it's just amazing. And then there's such a short amount of time as a group of people, 5 people in our table church, how much we minister to each other in that little bit of time. And I feel like there's some concepts that we did there that definitely we will be able to apply in France. I just don't know the specifics yet.
Yeah, got to think about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Paul, is there anything else that you would add?
There's many things God is stirring. I think, like Laura, we need to process. But one thing that stood out to me in particular was that we've been using the Luke 10 2B virus that John, you helped start, Kenny. And lots of people in France are praying that prayer. And I think maybe a next step on that is the CO2, Church of Twos. And I saw how that worked. I was not really understanding what that was about before we went, and even in the first, but bit by bit as we actually lived it out, and it was even a workshop on that specific thing, we were actually able to get hands-on, learn what that was about, and from some other people that have been heavily involved in that and teaching it. And I think that makes a lot of sense from France. And so the guy that I've been praying the Luke 10 to be prayer with the last 4 or 5 years or so, when I go back to France, I'll be speaking to him and say, maybe we could do a little different spin-off on this, see what he thinks about it. And he has his own network across churches that he's so that's a couple things. I also, some of the ideas and thoughts regarding leadership that you shared in your breakout session resonated, and I need to process through that and see how that worked in the French culture. And at the end of the day, another thing that really resonated to me was how similar the angle of starting house churches that we're doing and we're working on for the last 5-6 years is to the work you're doing. It's a similar terms that Dale's using. I think we use the same terms, the DNA. It's very, very similar DNA. So those are the things that struck me.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.